I set my monitor up on top of that fireplace, and all of a sudden it's, deep, deep, beep, beep. I'm like, what the heck? And I look down and it's at like 13. And I'm like, that's not good.
No.
And then it's at 45, and then it's at 175, and then it's at 210. And I'm like, whoa. Hey, everybody, I want to welcome you back to the Make Trades Great Again podcast. Today, Eric and I are going to talk about gas monitors.
Boom, boom, boom. Gas monitors, baby. What is a gas monitor, Andy?
Well, I mean, we've talked about it before, but they're like just a personal CO detector. I don't even know who turned us on to these. I feel like our buddy Josh did here a number of years ago.
I think
Josh
you're right.
Garrett.
Yep. Longtime friend and engineer, boiler company manufacturer guy.
Yeah. Yeah. We were out at a training in Rhode Island, and he's like, hey, you guys carry one of these? And we're like, well, what's that? Why don't we?
Yeah. Why don't we? I think it's appropriate time to talk about it because it's the start of heating season. We're in kind of full swing here where you're at, where I'm at. We work on a lot of gas equipment year round, but especially now, right?
Right. Well, and you get a lot of equipment that's just sat dormant for the last 6 months, right?
Yeah.
It's since the end of heating season last year, that stuff got shut off, and a lot of homeowners, business owners, it's in the dark closet and nobody thought about it, right? And they're not thinking about it until they show up or they get up in the morning, and guess what? The heat doesn't work.
And you've got one right there, so everybody watching on video can see. It's a little wearable monitor. It's about the size of a little bit bigger than like a Zippo lighter, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Like maybe
2 inch by 1.5 inches, inch and a quarter.
Yeah, not super big.
Yeah, it's like a pager.
It's got it. Yeah, it's like
you that were cool and stylish cats in the 90s. You could have had a pager that.
Boobless.
Motorola.
Remember the codes they used to send each other? Yeah. No, we're dating. Yep, exactly. The cool thing, like just a couple things, if you're not familiar, Andy, as you hold it up, can you just show the backside? It's got this metal hasp type of alligator clip that like literally will not let go when clamped onto like your jean pocket or your shirt or sweatshirt, or like I do it. I have it like kind of permanently affixed. Permanently, I mean, I never take it off when I say permanent, to like the canvas strap handle of my open top Vito bag.
Yep.
Because I really don't go anywhere without that particular bag. So I could wear it, but I typically don't need to. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And you've got some experience based on like these things going off many times. I've had mine go off a few times, but can you just give us kind of a rundown of like how over the years this thing has really alerted you to some serious problems?
Right. Yeah. I mean, the previous generation that I was using was the what was it? The Honeywell BW clip or something like that. Same concept. 24-month battery life. You turn the thing on once, it does its activation, and then you don't do anything with it. Right?
That's what's really cool about these things too. You just wear it. They're 24 months. They got a countdown right on the screen, so you know how many months you got left.
Yep. The Honeywell, I'm not sure what the C-Tron is going to do when it comes up to the end of its life. I don't know what that looks like. I can tell you on the Honeywell version at it counts down in months was displayed. And when you get less than 1 month, then it turns into 30D. So you got 30 days, and then you get down to the last day, and then it goes into the number of hours you have remaining.
Yeah.
And then at some point, it in the last 12 hours, I believe, every 10 minutes it beeps at you, chirps at you, like, "Hey, I'm dying here." Like, pay attention.
Hey, don't forget, did you order this? Because I'm gonna be gone forever in a minute.
Right. And so one of the neat things about the C-Tron version of it, the Be Safe SGCO, that's single gas carbon monoxide, detects
at 9.
Yep. It detects at 9 parts per million. It will start giving you a chirp. And that's not necessarily a low level alarm. That's just hey, guess what? There's carbon monoxide present here. Something's up. You shouldn't, normal environment, especially at home, should be 0. You should not have carbon monoxide in your house for any reason. The 9 sticks in my head, or from what I recall reading as through the OSHA classes, 9 is like the 8-hour weighted average that you could work in an environment. So if you were working in a mechanic shop or in manufacturing or something like that, you could work at 9 and theoretically not have any permanent damage.
Right.
Now, is that a
Well,
well,
I don't want to try to prove that. I'm going to say that
right,
right now.
right. At 35 parts per million, it goes into the low alarm, and that's hey, there's a significant problem here.
The high
Right.
level alarm, they call it, the 35.
I think that's the low. 200 is the high, where it's like in
Oh,
a solid ring, I believe is where it's at. But so it's kind of interesting. So like one of the things I was going to say is different about the Citron is that when you get carbon monoxide detected, it actually will display on the screen what it's reading. Where the Honeywell didn't. It just told you that you were over 35 and under 200, and then when you went over 200, it would tell you there.
gotcha.
Unfortunately, I've had occasion to have both conditions happen.
Yeah.
On systems where we've gone in and it's like, whoa, this is a bad deal. 200 parts per million inside the house or in the basement is that's a significant, very dangerous situation.
Yeah, especially if there's bedrooms or people
Yeah.
in the house for long periods of time, all kinds of
Yeah.
reasons why that's very, very dangerous. And
Yeah.
the crazy thing about CO is you can't smell it. So like
Right.
that's why you wear this detector, because you can't see it, you can't smell it.
Yeah.
There are some smells and stuff that kind of go along with equipment that is causing high levels
Right.
of CO to spill out, but it's not a reliable indicator of a CO problem. And
Right.
they call this the silent killer, right?
Yep.
And so having this is your first line of defense, but it's actually super, super effective. These things, I think the Citron one is nicer in that it has that 9 parts per million lower
Yep.
threshold to start going off, where before when we were wearing the Honeywell, which is still a good detector, don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, it's still
Better
better
than
than
nothing
not
for sure.
having one.
Yeah.
That was going off at 35. So if you had let's say you had a 10, 12, 14, 20, somewhere around there, and it was consistently spilling out, usually this isn't periodic and whenever the equipment's running, right? And so if you're in that lived in an environment and that stuff is spilling out there and this detector just isn't even going to go off and tell you, that's a serious problem,
Right.
right?
Yep. It was kind of interesting because the Honeywell's just recently expired, and I'd been talking with Citron folks and had ordered the new ones. They showed up. I turned it on. I think I was carrying it for a day or two, and I get a call from a customer, or we get a service call for a customer that's a rental situation. It's a house, single tenant. It's got a fireplace in the basement, fireplace upstairs, and then a boiler with, hot water baseboard.
Yeah.
The complaint is the basement fireplace has been turned off, and we're not sure exactly what's going on with it. Right, and that's from the landlord.
Okay.
So I show up, get over there, and I'm looking at it and talking with the tenant, and he's like, "Yeah, I've lived here for about 18 months, and somebody came by and shut it off. I don't know why." I'm like, "What do you mean you don't know why?" He's like, "Well, we were having issues. It was smelled funny,
Uh-huh.
and somebody came and worked on it, and then they were going to do something, and then they never came back. Like we never saw them again." And I was like, "Okay, that's kind of interesting, like a little bit quirky." So I'm looking at this fireplace, and it's nice. It's it's all electronic ignition and um, wireless remote, and it's a nice fireplace. And I'm, looking at it, and it's okay. So I see that the gas is mostly turned off, which is a little bit odd. It's not completely turned off.
What do you mean?
And
Mostly? How do
well,
you
like
mostly
it's got this little goofy gas cock that you can kind of access from the front with this key. Not like the old log lighter key, but it's like you put this pin in the side of it and you can twist it's kind of stupid.
That's weird.
It's
Maybe
it,
somebody didn't know how to turn that off or something?
I'm guessing, or they thought that it was off and it just wasn't. It doesn't really
Sure.
matter.
Either way.
Like I say, it's not leaking natural gas. And so I'm looking at it and I'm like, all right, well, what's going on with this thing? And I'm kind of shining my flashlight in and I can see like there's a bunch of wires on the left hand side of it, like into this going into this control board. I'm like, all right, something's up here. And, looking and I see this Molex plug unplugged back there. And I'm like, all right, somebody's been
Somebody's been
here.
somebody's been taking stuff apart, trying to figure out what's
Right.
wrong.
So I get the fireplace out and I'm, kind of looking at the wiring and, trying to, before I don't know, I've had two occasions where I've had fireplaces blow up enough to knock the front door off of them.
Oh, wow.
And, mostly both of those occasions were propane where somebody had been fiddling around with them. So I'm nervous. I'm not nervous. I guess I'm going to be I'm hyper aware that I could do something stupid here and
Yeah.
probably get hurt.
Well, you're
Uh,
standing in front of this glass. Yeah.
right. It's just, yeah.
I assume these
Anyway.
are glass enclosure,
Yep.
sealed combustion type of
Yep.
fireplaces, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so, I know the homeowner's like, yeah, or the tenant's like, yeah, well, from my recollection a year ago, it started smelling funny. And that was right after we had moved in. So we just quit using it. And this guy shows up, he works on it for a little while and then didn't really tell us anything. And he just leaves and he's gone. And we never hear from him again. And I was like, okay, all right. Well, that's unfortunate. But it may have
Yeah.
been that the guy's like, I can't find parts for this. I don't know. I'm out.
Yeah.
And maybe he told the landlord that and the landlord just never communicated with the
Guy could have
tenant.
got
I don't
fired on the way home. Who
know.
knows?
Hard,
Yeah.
hard saying. Hard
Yeah.
saying. So I start fiddling around with this thing, and I'm like, all right, well, let's see if I can get the spark igniter to run, turn the gas off, plug the thing in. It doesn't do anything. I'm like, all right, do we have a bad control board? Do we have a bad gas valve? Come to find out you have to have the remote. Well, the tenant can't find the remote. So I'm like,
Guy probably left with it. It's
I
probably in his
could
tool
have
bag.
that's a tenant's like, I don't know. The last time I saw it was when that good dude was working on it. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, so conveniently though, the fireplace upstairs uses the same remote. So
Oh,
sweet. So I go up, grab it, pair it with the lower unit. Everything seems to fire up. I'm like, cool. I get a pilot flame. It opens the gas valve, lights the main burner. I'm like, okay. Things are all right. This is looking good. It's nothing violent. Everything seems to be functional on it. The safeties work. As soon as you turn the gas off, the igniter comes back on. And I'm like, all right, this is probably fine. But I'm like, I got the little, be safe clipped on my bag. Let's see what happens. So I unclip it and I set it right on top of the fireplace. And I got the fireplace pulled out partway. It's got the two flexible flues, an intake and exhaust on it. And I set my monitor up on top of that fireplace. And all of a sudden it's, deep, deep, beep, beep. I'm like, what the heck? And I look down and it's at like 13. And I'm like, that's not good.
no.
And then it's at 45. And then it's
Oh,
at
boy.
175. And then it's at 210. And I'm like, whoa, things are getting real here. Like, what's going on? So I shut the thing off. I'm like, there's got to be like a hole, right? Like this thing's like directly venting out of the top of it. Something's definitely
Like the
amiss here.
venting's not attached or something.
Right. Something's wonky here. So I'm looking at it and I'm like feeling where the exhaust, like up, I can feel like where the door closes on the front of it. And sure enough, the door isn't sealed. It's like, it's not closed all the way. So I'm
like
okay.
that rope gasket stuff.
Yeah. I can look in there and see beside the glass that it's not touching the metal face. It's all the spring-loaded door closures and stuff like that. So I'm like, So start taking it apart. Well, somebody else has been in this fireplace fiddling with it. And it's got like these enameled steel back, like, I don't know what you call it, like a reflector, if you will.
Okay.
It's like this stamped piece of metal that goes in behind the fire and the logs. So I take all of it out. Like half the screws are missing out of the bottom plate, so that holds the burner together. Somebody's clearly been here working on this bottom, right, on the burner.
Yeah.
And when they reassembled it, they didn't put the pieces back together, right? They had this rear reflector upside down. And so it stuck out and held the door open and the top wasn't latched. And I'm like, all right, that's got to be it. So finally, half an hour later, I get this thing reassembled and some new screws in the burner plate and kind of putting it back together. And the carbon monoxide's a lot less, but it's not gone. So I'm like, something's whacked out here. So I gotta get a parts manual. There's nothing, obviously no literature on site, and I need to do a little bit of research on it and come back and see how it's supposed to be assembled, because something's not right. I think I can order a gasket kit for it, like where that flue and the intake attached to the top. I'm not sure that that's correct. Some of the stuff, and it's a fireplace, right? I mean,
Can you access the venting without like tearing the wall apart?
it's kind of nice actually. It's got two screws in the front
Yeah.
that you take these two fairly heavy screws out, and then this plate like cam locks up off the top, and that's your intake and exhaust.
Really?
Yeah, and so
It's
you
all
can just pick
accessible from
that
the
up.
front. So it's like there
Yeah.
must be some kind of panel that access
Yep.
that, like
Yeah.
a
There's like
grate or something.
yeah, it's like a flat piece of steel that like hooks on the front, but it covers up the opening around the between the existing old firebox.
I believe that would be called a bezel.
Yeah, bezel. Yeah,
There we go.
maybe
Look
an
at the big brain on Brett.
escutcheon.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. So your detector went off. And that wasn't the first time. I remember a while back,
Yeah.
we talked about it in a previous episode a year or two ago about you walk into the garage. I think I was just
Yeah.
listening to this episode at one point recently.
Yeah, I was in the
You
cat
walked in the
dealership.
Yeah, you walk into the repair garage and the thing starts going off immediately at like 40 parts per minute. You're like,
Right.
you guys shouldn't be working in here.
Right.
You guys have headaches usually?
Yeah.
You got to go home and
Par-
drink a lot?
Yeah. The parts girl sits in the corner and naps a lot.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. No kidding. No, I've been wearing mine for a few years. Same time as you. Same whole, scenario. We were
Yeah.
together at an event out east at a training, and it was brought up to our attention like, hey, you guys should buy these. They're not that expensive. And so we did, and so glad that I did because mine has went off
Yeah.
as well. I had a atmospheric vented water heater that was venting into the space.
Right.
It wasn't obvious. It just was a large open basement mechanical space, like the whole basement of like a, let's say like 1,000 square foot space and
Sure.
40 gallon, 50 gallon, whatever atmospheric. And it was customers were saying like, look, something's wrong with our water heater. I don't, they didn't have any real problems, thankfully, but it was an old house,
Yep.
leaky as heck. I swear to God, there was like a hole in one of those little lookout windows
Right.
down there, thankfully, probably.
Yep.
But I walked into the basement. It didn't go off immediately because the water heater hadn't been running. So I got the water heater to
Yep.
run. And within a couple minutes, same thing, things start going off.
Yeah.
I got the Citron one about, I'd say like the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
My Honeywell had not timed out, and it did. I put my Honeywell on my toolbox in the shop here, just like in the
Right.
open, like in the shelf, like at the top of the toolbox. And it did do exactly like you said, the timing of it. It started telling me that it was like, hey, we're at 1 month. And every time I'd be pulling in and out of the shop, it would be beeping at least once while I was in there, right?
Yeah.
And then at the last days, it was basically just beeping every few minutes or something like that, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
So let's talk real quick, just for the sake of this episode. So Citron is the company. They make a really nice set of combustion analyzers for anybody that doesn't own
Maybe
one.
the
You want to look at it.
best.
I've posted videos.
Right.
It is the nicest. There's some really nice combustion analyzers on the market. Field Piece has a really nice one. Citron. I think that those would be like my first two picks. People ask me because I've used them. They've seen me using them in videos and stuff.
Yep.
The Novo one, you just got your hands on one of that's
Yep.
Citron's newest, latest, and greatest combustion analyzer, and it has a feature on there, the Pro mode, I think they call it,
Yep.
where you can like input your values ahead of time based off of the manufacturer's, like combustion numbers that they want you to hit, and it, without going too far into it, this analyzer is so cool. It's got a mode where you select like I'm working on a ream furnace and you've got your numbers input on there already. It takes like 2 seconds to enter. It's like entering it into a calendar or calculator, like your phone basically.
Right.
And then you start your analyzing process and it graphs it out and it tells you it gives like this green bar. If all the values are right, you land in this green bar on the screen. You're like, yep, I'm good,
Yep.
And if it's outside either way of that green bar, then you got some adjustments to do or you got some issues to figure out. It made combustion analyzing for me, now I want people to pay attention. It made it idiot proof. And I say that because I can use it and I know I feel confident what I'm doing. I've
Right.
never been confident in combustion analyzing in having to know what the numbers are and why they are what they are. I'm not
Right.
interested in memorizing that kind of stuff. I'm just not. I'm just going to
Yeah.
say it like it is. I don't have room in my brain, the way my brain works, to remember exactly what my CO and my O2 and stuff are supposed to be in relation to each other on a gas burning high efficiency wall hung
Yeah.
boiler. I
Right.
don't care about that. And this analyzer made it so I didn't have to anymore. And I
Yeah.
really, really like that. But anyway, Citron, I was looking up, I brought it up because like we go to True Tech Tools a lot. This isn't an endorsement for True Tech either. It's not even an endorsement for Citron. I think they make a really good product and we like the
Yep.
people that run it. We've met them. We've had trainings with them. Jason, he's a super cool guy. Jason and
Yep.
Steve's super guy. But you go to True Tech Tools and search like personal CO monitor. What did you say
Yep.
the model number of it was?
This one that I've got is the Be Safe SGCO.
CO. So that's single
Yep.
gas CO monitor. Oh, here it is. PM1C is the monitor for CO. And it looks like it's about 122 bucks.
Yep. Something like that.
It gets you 24 months at 120. So it's what? 50, it's what? How many dollars is it? 60, $61 a year? Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Something like
know.
that.
Seems like a pretty good deal to
$5 a
me.
month.
Yeah, $5 a month to not, have
Not.
carbon
Yeah.
monoxide poison. I
Yep.
brought up in a
Absolutely.
past episode, and as maybe we kind of wrap it here, I want to bring up real quick. Somebody might be listening and be like, yeah, blah, 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 CO, I don't do. I got carbon monoxide poisoning. I brought it up in a past episode. It's happened like 8, 9 years ago now. And I still remember every detail vividly. The stuff that I
Yep.
can remember, because I'm going to tell you too, that this is so extremely dangerous and
Yeah.
painful. And I got put in that barometric, whatever that the chamber. Like I had to
Right.
go in this plastic box, this glass box in the hospital, in the freaking far reaches of the emergency room somewhere at Mercy Hospital in Coon Rapids, Minnesota. And I had to sit in this thing where they pump oxygen above atmospheric pressure so that it fuses
So you
it
reabsorb.
to
Yep.
reabsorb it in your bloodstream, because what happens, CO2 displaces the oxygen in your red blood cells.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that now your heart and your brain are not getting the proper amount of oxygen. And that's why this is so dangerous and you will die. You'll like suffocate.
Suffo.
Suffo. I always say suffocate. I don't know
Yeah.
why. It's
Yeah.
just dumb. But anyway, it's very painful. It took me about 2 to 3 weeks to like fully like feel normal again, but it took me like 2 or 3 months before I didn't have like symptoms of this whole thing. And I'm lucky that I figured out something was wrong before it was too late. And it was probably close. But anyway,
Yeah.
I didn't have a monitor then. I was working in a building they were using, a great big warehouse. They were using propane powered skid loaders. They're
Yep.
running skid loaders in the building to do dirt work for concrete pouring.
Yep.
And I was all the way across the building, it's forever away from it and everything. Anyway, get yourself one of these monitors. They're super, super easy to just, like I said,
Yep.
I clip it on my tool bag because for me, I know that tool bag spring is going to go everywhere I do. But it's really worth it. Sorry, that's my
Yeah.
rant.
No, I mean, it's good. Solid rant.
I'm glad that you got, and by the way, if you haven't, I don't think you said it, but Andy, you got these for all your guys, right?
Oh yeah, I have for we're going, and this will be our 5th year of having analyzers. We came back from that, like say, came back from that training. I can't believe it's been 5 years ago, but it has.
Yeah.
5 or 6 years ago, something like that. Anyway, we came back from that, and I, started researching them. And there's a whole bunch of them out there on the market. I think they're all very reliable in that aspect. They're new to us because, in our, little closed-minded, industry, we don't see things like this sitting on the tool shop counter.
Yeah.
This is something you see in a manufacturing facility or in a mining facility, something of that nature, where it's like they're very aware that, this is the gas. These come, carbon monoxide, you can get it in an oxygen monitor. So if you're working in somewhere where there is um, oxygen depleting chemicals, I think formaldehyde is one of them. If you're ever working around formic acid, that's something that basically absorbs oxygen or depletes the oxygen. So you could have a deal where normally we say, well, we got 21% oxygen in the atmosphere. Well, if you had an oxygen depleter chemical or an oxygen depleting chemical that could leak, it could absorb the oxygen and you don't have that much oxygen.
Yeah.
The other one, hydrogen sulfide. If you do a lot of sewer work, any underground work at all, like if you're into tunneling or
Yeah, exactly. Because the
it's
organics and stuff that are in the soil
yep,
can cause the hydrogen sulfide, and
yep,
yeah, not good.
or if you're around or any of the oil field stuff, H2S is a bad deal, and it will just knock you dead. Um, anyway, you can get this single gas monitor in hydrogen sulfide as well, or sulfur dioxide. I'm not
You can
sure where
also
you can
get the
find sulfur.
multi-gas. Like they have them.
Yep,
They have one that does like I think 3 or
well,
4.
probably all four of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Obviously going to be
anyway,
more expensive, I think. Or
yeah,
I shouldn't say obvious. I'm pretty sure that it's more expensive for
yeah,
the other monitors, but regardless, it shouldn't be a cost barrier. I think this is a
no,
low. Like we broke it down already. It's like $5 a month.
yep,
Even if it was 10, wouldn't you think it'd be worth it? You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I mean, now after having one, I wouldn't. I don't, like I say, this time of year, I'm not bringing my service tool bag in to every job. If I'm going in to do a boiler service, I have a boiler service kit. So now this is on my belt daily,
Okay.
which is the reason why I have it here this morning while we're recording. Is it was clipped on my pocket when I walked out to the studio, and it's like, all right, we're gonna go do this, and I just kind of moved into that mode where this time of year I'm just wearing it.
It's a good. I should probably do it too. I have no reason not to.
Yeah,
It doesn't
it
clip. I
just
mean, the clips so tightly, like it's not coming off.
it's
You're not going to knock this thing off.
no,
There's no way.
no, no, exactly. So anyway, that's that.
There you go, guys. We don't have any
So
discount code or anything like that. This isn't promoted.
no,
We're just sharing this info because
go
we
buy
think
it.
it's important. Just go buy it. Exactly.
Yep. Yep. Because, like you say, I mean, the 2 times, 3 times now that I've had mine go off like at a high level, I've been like, whoa, because I wouldn't have had, both in all three of those occasions, other than the fireplace, I may have gone out to the van and got my purpose built, CO detector and brought it, turned it on at the van and walked back in and went, God, I hope this thing works,
Yeah.
whereas this is just on and I don't have to worry about turning it off.
You can
Overall.
test it and stuff so you can make sure it's working. The other thing too, like for one last note, how many times have you well, you park outside more often than not, but like have you ever been in the shop with your van? Like start your van, side doors open, you're like, "Oh crap." And then all of a sudden it's going off.
Like,
Like your
yep,
van has been running for like 10 seconds
it's
and this
crazy
thing
how
will go
fast.
off. Like it's
Yeah.
fast how crazy
Yeah.
that sensitive it is and how
Yep.
quickly you fill that space with CO, especially from a combustion engine like that. But
Yep.
all right, I'm going to wrap it.
Cool.
Dude,
Do it.
thank you. Thank you so
Yep.
much for bringing this up as a topic. I'm super glad we talked about it.
Yep.
Hey guys, remember you can always send us messages, feedback, whatever you got. There's a link in your podcast app. If you just scroll down from the description, there's a link you can touch there and you can send us a text. We don't know your phone number or anything like that. Tell us whatever you want. Please be nice, but we'd love to hear from you, good or bad, whether you like this topic or others that we've talked about. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit subscribe or share it with your friends because we'd love for more people to hear about what we're talking about. We appreciate you guys and have a great
Yep.
one.